be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. At that time, Jesus went up on the mountain and called to him those whom he desired. And they came to him, and he appointed 12 to be with him and to be sent out to preach and have authority to cast out demons. Simon, whom he surnamed Peter, James the son of Zebedee, and John, the brother of James, whom he surnamed Boanerges, that is, sons of thunder, Andrew and Philip, and Bartholomew, and Matthew, and Thomas, and James the son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, and Simon the Canaanian, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. The Gospel of the Lord. Our first reading today is from Hebrews. Hebrews focuses on the priesthood of Jesus. A priest, his function and his role is to do whatever he can as a vocation and calling to connect humanity with God, to connect earth with heaven. So we are called as priests, all those who are baptized, those who have special ministries as priests. Sacramental ordination gives me a sacramental, a ministerial baptism, where I'm called to use the sacrament as a means of connecting us with God in our daily lives. God has always wanted this. In the Old Testament, it was with a covenant, and Hebrews tells us there's now a new covenant. It's Jesus. Because the Old Covenant was in some ways flawed. Because God, in his great love, had tried with the first covenant, and there had been successes. But now it needed to be perfected. Let's look what God did in his time of change, when the old was not working and something new was needed. Here we have Jesus making it very clear what this new covenant was about. He was the Lamb of God. And the first thing that he does after his baptism in his ministry is to go up to the mountain, the place where God is, and he called those that he desired. This is a human being looking at whom he needed to surround himself with. And they came. So he requested them, and they came. He might have even requested others that did not come, but these came. And then he decided to appoint 12, probably because being a Jew, he wanted to continue the Old Testament tradition of the 12 tribes. He wanted that to be represented in his 12 apostles. And there are 3 things that he wants these disciples to do. 3. 1, to be with him. In other words, to be his companions, his daily companions, people that he would walk with, work with, eat with, develop the new church with. They had to accompany him. Secondly, they were to be sent out to preach. They were called to a divine mission to preach. Be with Jesus, and then go out away from Jesus, having had that experience, to talk to others about that experience, and to have authority over the demons. Number 3. So important. Be with Jesus. sent out to preach, cast out demons. And so he chooses the 12, and they are named here, including dear old Judas Iscariot, who was to betray him. Well, even Jesus didn't have an opportunity of choosing the perfect team. Why do we complain when we do not have the perfect team? Jesus works with what he is given. So it's not about complaining about Judas or being suspicious about Judas. It's about focusing on the real matter of the new covenant. Stay with Jesus, go out and preach, power over demons. Let's look at ourselves. Let's put ourselves into today's context. Today is the Requiem Mass of Archbishop Abel Gabuza, the great hope of our diocese. A human being, yes, but we had hope. This was the month when the cardinal was going to be the administrator of Ishawi, because their bishop has been moved, and Archbishop Abel was going to take over the reins. Within a week, all those plans have changed. What is going to happen next? Nobody knows, except God. This is our context. In our own parish, people are dying. Daily, we are receiving messages of people scrambling into hospitals. People are dying. It is closer than it has ever been before. We are feeling it. I haven't spoken to a person that doesn't know somebody who has died of COVID. I spoke to somebody yesterday. She said 5 of my friends, she's from Joburg, have died. Some from COVID, some not. So here we have our context, and Jesus is calling us to do 3 things: to stay with him, to preach, and to cast out the demons. So what are you and I going to do today? Well, let us stay close to Jesus. Let us do the normal things in our day with Jesus. Getting out of bed, brushing our teeth, worrying about our children, and worrying about our businesses, worrying about the unemployment rate, worrying about death. Yes. Be with Jesus in all these concerns. With every tear that drops from our eyes, do it with Jesus. He too knew how to cry. Then we must preach. We must be strong enough to know that even though we are weak, we are called to go out and preach a gospel of hope, not in ourselves and our worldly way of doing things, but in the divine. That's what they had to preach. We have got to do that preaching now. We've got to cry for Archbishop Abel Gabuza and cry for Monsignor Nadel, but we must not cry without also preaching that there will be a resurrection, not only for Monsignor Nadel and for our Archbishop, but for ourselves on earth. Some kind of resurrection. What it will look like, we do not know. The new normal is something still to be seen. And thirdly, cast out demons. Demons are often portrayed as tokoloshas or funny shaped people and spirits. Yes, demons exist in that form, but demons can also be very, very subtle. Demons can come through our gossip and our speaking, the fake news. Social media should be used to preach the good news, not to spread the fake news. What are the demons that are attracting us in our lives that need to be dispelled so that we can preach the message of Jesus Christ? A message that comes from being with him, knowing him, and loving him during the pandemic of COVID in Belito, where we can stretch out not just by walking, but through social media. A whole new way of being sent. What is the newness that God has for our time? In our parish, it's so exciting. I love being in this parish. We're doing some new things. We're already planning our Lenten program. It's very exciting that's happening. From Monday and every Monday, starting from this Monday coming, we are asking for 6 people, or 5, to join me at El Belito Hospital from 6:30 to 7:30. And we are going to stand there and thank the workers that come to work in our hospitals and thank those who are going off duty. The pastors and the churches of Belito have taken a day each. We have been allocated Monday. So I'm hoping that you will phone in, talk to Wendy. We're hoping to have posters and we'll do something. I'll be the leader of that group for that day. We'll have another group leader for the next Monday. Why? Because we are sent to preach. And if the only way we can preach is at a distance, standing outside a hospital, clapping and thanking those who have worked night shift and those who are going into work, then that's what we need to do. To dispel those demons of exhaustion, the demons of not being valued. Let's stay with Jesus. Let's know we are sent. And let us cast out demons in this very time in the history of humanity.